Beloved child, listen to me carefully. Today is the day I choose to enter the hallways of your heart with light, with truth, and with power. You are not hearing this message by coincidence. You did not stumble upon these words by chance. You were guided here. I am your Father, your Creator, your Sustainer. I know exactly where you are right now, both physically and in the deepest parts of your soul. I know the questions that still echo inside you without answers. I know the burdens your soul carries in silence. I know the feeling of walking without clear direction. Today, I have come to break the silence with revelation. Heaven has something specific to speak to your spirit, and I myself, with my own voice, have come to reveal 5 truths that will completely transform how you see your past, your present, and your future. So listen with an attentive heart, because the word that comes from my mouth does not return empty. It reaches where you are. It invades the invisible. It restores what was broken. It plants hope where discouragement had taken root. Now open your spirit and receive first revelation. I was with you even when everything seemed to fall apart. Do you remember those days when it felt like the ground disappeared beneath your feet, when the heavens felt closed, when you felt like I had gone silent? I tell you, I was there. I was in the midst of the storm. When no one understood you, when every door closed, I walked the hallway with you. You were not abandoned. You were hidden. You were not rejected, you were protected. There were battles being fought for you behind the scenes of the spiritual world, battles you didn't even know about. And while you wept, wondering if anyone saw you, my angels surrounded you and kept you. Remember what is written, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Psalm 23:4. You walked through dark valleys, but I was your light, even when you couldn't perceive it. The delays that hurt you were disguised deliverances. The people who left were interfering with what I was building. I didn't move away. I covered you. And now that the storm has passed, I reveal to you that what you called the end was actually a new beginning, being prepared by my own hands. Second revelation, I am healing wounds no one else could reach. You've carried invisible scars that shaped how you think, feel, and react. Words spoken in your childhood still echo like arrows inside you. Absences you tried to ignore turned into deep voids in your heart. But today, my child, I extend my healing hand to the exact place where those wounds hide. I am the same one who healed the brokenhearted, who restored the lepers, who gave sight to the blind. And today, I heal your soul. The pain of not being heard, the shame of not feeling enough, the burden of always having to be strong, I take all of that now. I trade your ashes for a crown, your mourning for oil of joy, your spirit of heaviness for garments of praise. You don't need to pretend you're okay. I am not impressed by masks. I want the real you. You're broken, you're fragile, because I specialize in transforming shattered vessels into instruments of honor. From your pain will be born a ministry. From your trauma, a testimony. Where the enemy tried to destroy your identity, I am restoring your essence. Third revelation, the weight that frustrated you was part of the preparation that strengthened you. You looked around and saw others advance, conquer, and grow, and you wondered, was I forgotten? No, my child, you were not forgotten. You were reserved. What I build with my own hands requires time, foundation, structure. And I loved you too much to give you promises before you were ready to carry them. I don't work with haste. I work with purpose. The seed that was planted had to die before it could sprout. And you've been in that time of dying, to certain expectations, to certain plans of your own, to emotional dependencies. But now I say to you, the time for germination has come. What was being worked on in secret will begin to manifest in the visible. Remember David, anointed as a child, yet sent to the fields before the throne. Remember Joseph, dreamed of the palace, but passed through the pit and the prison. So it was with you. The waiting was refinement. The delay was mercy, and now you will begin to see my promises take shape, not because it's your time, but because it's heaven's time to move for you. Fourth revelation, I have placed invisible protection around you all these years. How many times did you narrowly escape? Things went well and you didn't know how. How many events almost happened but were mysteriously stopped? That was not coincidence. That was intervention. I spared you from accidents the enemy had planned. I shut mouths that wanted to slander you. I blocked deals that would have destroyed your peace. I distanced people who smiled outwardly but carried poison within. Because you are mine, you are chosen, and upon my chosen ones I place protection. as Psalm 91 says. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. You walked among wolves, but were not devoured. You passed through dangerous spiritual territories, but remained standing. Why? Because I placed a wall of fire around you. Because your name is engraved in the palm of my hand. And while many didn't understand how you were still standing, it was I who held you from within, even when you thought about giving up. Today, recognize this. You didn't get here by your own strength. It was grace. It was a miracle. It was supernatural protection. Fifth revelation, what I have prepared for you has not yet been revealed to your eyes, but it is already on its way. You look at your story and see difficult pages, confusing moments, and painful decisions, but I see something greater. I see the whole picture, and what is coming will still surprise you, because I am the God who makes all things new, and you haven't seen anything yet. There are promises already matured, miracles ready to be released, divine appointments written into your story that will change the course of your life. Don't limit your future through the lens of your past. Don't define your identity by your failures. I'm writing a new chapter, and it's not just a chapter of restoration, it's a chapter of glory. The glory of this second house will be greater than the first. You will still witness unexpected reconciliations, abundant provision, doors opening you never thought would open. You will live what eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and minds have not imagined, not by merit, but by grace. Because you believed, because you waited, because you remained. And now that your heart is open and your spirit is listening, I will take you deeper. Because what I am doing in you is not surface level. It is soul deep, foundation deep. I'm not simply restoring your feelings, I am reconstructing your inner architecture, rebuilding the hidden frameworks that carry your faith, your identity, and your calling. I'm not content with simply giving you comfort. I want to give you clarity. You've asked me to remove the storm, but I want to give you the understanding to navigate the storm with authority. You've begged for quick exits, but I am teaching you spiritual endurance. You don't just need escape, you need eyes that see me even in the fire. The enemy tried to make you think that confusion was your destiny, that constant uncertainty was just part of your personality. But I say to you now, I am not a God of confusion. I am bringing you into alignment with heaven's clarity. I am silencing every false voice that tried to wear my name. And I am training your ears to recognize the tone of truth. You will not always feel strong, but I never called you to depend on feelings. I called you to trust my voice. I called you to walk by the whisper, not by the weather. There will be days when your emotions betray you, but I will still be there, steady as a rock, faithful as the dawn. Some of the thoughts that haunt you were planted in your most vulnerable moments. They weren't yours, they were suggestions, weapons, carefully timed lies, but now I shine my light on those dark places. And every lie that has shaped your decisions, your self-image, your relationships, I am uprooting them one by one. You've tried to fix things by managing the visible, but I'm teaching you to address the invisible. I am delivering you from the illusion that success is the same as stability. There are people who look stable but are crumbling inside. I want you whole, not impressive, whole. Some of the patterns you've struggled with weren't born in this season, they go deeper. But you are the one I've chosen to break them. You're not just fighting for your freedom, you're fighting for the freedom of generations. What ends with you will never touch those after you. There's a calling on your life that you've only sensed in fragments, moments when your heart burned unexpectedly, conversations that stirred something too deep to explain. That was me, that was my spirit, breathing reminders of what I planted in you before time began. You have not missed your moment. You have not fallen too far. You have not failed too greatly. There is still oil in your jar, even if you only see a drop. And with that drop, I will multiply. I will pour. I will use what you thought was empty and make it overflow. Don't be afraid of starting small. I delight in small beginnings because they prove your heart more than your hands. You are not behind, you are being built. And what I build is never rushed, never careless, never hollow. I lay brick upon brick with precision, with patience, with love. Stop comparing your growth to someone else's chapter. You don't know what battles they're fighting, and they don't know what I'm doing in you. This is your path, your process, your pace. You are not forgotten just because your journey looks different. I have seen the nights where you felt like your prayers hit the ceiling. I heard every whispered cry, even when you said nothing out loud. I collected every tear like treasure, not because you were weak, but because you were worshipping through pain. I know what it cost you to stay, to keep believing, to forgive, to smile when you were breaking inside. And I tell you now, it was not in vain. Nothing escapes my notice. Nothing is wasted. The cost will return as glory. You feared being misunderstood, and it made you hide parts of yourself. But I made every layer of you. I'm not confused by your complexity. I want the whole you, not just the polished version. I love the process, not just the product. There's a deep well inside you that hasn't been tapped yet. Living water, wisdom, creativity, power. And I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to send people, situations, and moments that pull the treasure from deep within. I didn't just save you from destruction. I saved you for destiny. You weren't just rescued, you were commissioned. You were pulled from darkness so you could shine in it, not run from it. You were delivered so you could become a deliverer. Stop labeling yourself by the last season. You are not what happened to you. You are not the failure, the sin, the loss, or the regret. You are who I say you are, and I say you are chosen, set apart, and destined to carry light into places others are too afraid to go. I am going to use your story in ways you never imagined, not when you're perfect, but even now. Because it's your authenticity that carries weight. People won't be changed by your strength. They'll be changed by your surrender. The more honest you are with me, the more power I release through you. I do my best work in open wounds. I anoint the places you're tempted to hide. I breathe into what the world said was worthless. I raise what others buried too soon. There are divine appointments waiting for you. People who are already on the way, partnerships, mentors, connections you didn't plan, but I orchestrated, and when they come you will know, because your spirit will recognize my fingerprints on them. You will walk into rooms that were closed before, not because you forced your way in, but because I opened the door. You won't need to beg for a seat at the table. I am preparing tables for you, in the presence of every doubt, every fear, and every voice that said you wouldn't make it. Let me teach you how to walk in peace. Even when pressure surrounds you, peace is not the absence of noise, it is the presence of confidence in me. It is the stillness that comes from knowing that even when life shakes, the foundation remains unmoved. There will be times when obedience feels like loss. But I promise you, every time you choose my way, you are gaining more than you can see. I reward obedience with access. Access to wisdom, access to strength, access to supernatural peace. Do not underestimate the power of consistent faith. The quiet days matter. The prayers whispered in weakness still carry weight in heaven. I am a God who records the unnoticed, who multiplies the small, who crowns the faithful. You are not called to carry everything. There are battles I never intended for you to fight. Lay them down, release them, let me fight for you. You don't have to prove anything. I already chose you before you had the chance to perform. Rest is not laziness, it is trust. When you rest in me, you declare that I am enough, that you don't have to strive for what grace has already secured.